Would you turn the phone volume down?
Oh, down?
Yeah, a little bit. You don't have to pick it up. Just, isn't there a volume switch on the bottom?
Oh, just take it.
Yeah. And then if she wants to speak up or something, maybe she'll text you. But otherwise, we'll try not to bother unless we have a question to ask. All right. So let's call the meeting to order. If you would call the roll, and let's see where we stand.
Okay. Chairman Tamayas.
I'm here.
Board Member Beaver is absent. Board Member Hilliard.
Here.
Board Member Rowe is absent. Board Member Smith.
Here.
And alternate Board Member Imuni.
Here.
All right. So what happens is we have a quorum. Ordinarily, we would sit as a group of 5. If we're sitting as a group of 5, you can lose a vote and still win your case because you need 4 out of 5 votes to win. If we're sitting with a quorum and we have 4 people, you can't lose a vote. You have to have unanimity in order to win. So when we sit as a group of 4, we give everybody the option of free pass if they want it to the next meeting to see if we can get 5 people, or just go forward. So if you want to be off the agenda, speak up now or forever hold your peace. Otherwise, we're going forward. We're going to make decisions. But if you want to, great, no problem, no foul. If you want to go forward, then just sit quiet or tell us so. And if you don't say anything, we're just going to press forward. Okay? Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the minutes of the meeting we held July 1st. And if the group has seen that and has some commentary or motion to make, I would appreciate that.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Whereupon, what we do generally now is anybody that wants to speak for, against, or say anything at all in the meeting that has anything to do with any of the items on the agenda should stand, raise your right hand, and swear or affirm so that we get everybody sworn in at one time and we don't have to deal with that again. We just get it out of the way now, okay? So if y'all stand up, including our staff member.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right. Go from here then into the public hearing agenda, which starts with file PZ 2021-226. It's an application by Richard Faust for a special exception to a setback requirement at 885 Powell Street. Could we hear the staff report, please, ma'am?
Okay. PZ 2021-226 is a request for a special exception to the minimum side yard setback requirement for the property located at 885 Powell. This request is considered a special exception because the side yard setback was established prior to, the house was established prior to the adoption of the ordinance. This home was built in 1962 per appraisal district. The appraisal district was originated in 1962, so that home may be older than 1962. Mr. Faust has applied for a minor plat and therefore requests to adjust the interior side property line to be situated 1.89 feet from the existing structure. By strict compliance with the City of Beaumont zoning regulations, the minimum side yard setback would be 5 feet for a one-story structure. Approval of this request would allow the side yard setback for a one-story house to be reduced from 5 feet to 1.89 feet upon final recordation of the minor plat, which will be recorded with the Jefferson County Clerk's Office. So looking here, this is Brooklyn Street coming down, Powell Street right here. This is the structure in question right here. I've highlighted both of these lots because this house sits on both of these lots currently. And Jackson Street is above. This is, I believe, the Charlton Pollard Elementary School. This is the site plan that they provided. So the existing property line is going straight through 885 Powell right here. What they are proposing to do is move this property line, the existing one, to here, and then the water closet that juts out right here That's gonna be situated 1.89 feet away. I measured the closest point of the house up here, and that measured to be about, like 3 feet and change away from the, property. But really, the one that we have to pay attention to is the 1.89 feet away. And then this is the house, or the subject property. So right now, the existing property line goes through right about here. And then this is in between where they're trying to adjust the property line.
And who owns the property? The row house.
I can find that out.
They don't, the applicant doesn't own that property.
They own both properties. So originally, they had applied for this as a special exception as well. However, I discussed it with the director, and technically, this top story here, it is less than 50% of the entire bottom story, or bottom floor. So with that being less than 50%, and the house being 5.88 feet away, it's considered a 1.5, which it would meet that 1-story setback. So it was fine. So we pulled it from the agenda.
Is this currently pending in planning and zoning, or are we waiting for the special exception before going there?
Special exception first, then
Okay.
minor plat. So the minor plat doesn't have, well, in this case, the minor plat will be going to the planning commission, because the front street frontage, basically, is going to be a little bit smaller than 50 feet, which is the minimum. So they have to go before them for that. But this lot line here, we're just waiting for the special exception on that.
All right. Comments from surrounding property owners, any?
No, 0 letters in favor, 0 in opposition.
Any other questions of the witness? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Who else wants to speak to this, this issue and this request? If you'd come up, state your full name and your relationship to the property, and then tell us whatever you want to tell us.
Thank you. My name is Richard Faust. I'm with Faust Engineering and Surveying, 5550 East Texas Freeway, Suite O, in the beautiful city of Beaumont, Texas. We are the surveyors that surveyed the property originally and found the encroachment. Worked with planning and zoning to figure out the best way to do this. The way we have it arranged right now, both properties meet the minimum square footage requirements for the city. We looked at several ways of doing this, but if we didn't hold with the 50 feet along Powell Street, then both lots would be out of compliance. And so in working with planning and zoning, we felt the best way to do this was to make the 890 Jackson Street compliant, and the 885 Powell would just have to be what it is. We just don't have enough land between both properties. So that's kind of the route we took, what we thought was the best way to handle this, and any questions y'all have, I'm glad to answer. We also have the property owner here as well.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, what's the plan for the property? If the property owner owns both properties, can't live in but one.
Well, the properties are going to be sold.
It's just a cleanup to sell?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions of the witness? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to speak for, against, or otherwise make a comment on this, this issue that's on our agenda today? Okay. Hearing none, what comments do we have from the crew up here? Ready to make a motion?
Gotta make a motion.
All right, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept what he presented.
Okay.
I second.
All right, would you call the roll, please, and we'll have that as our vote.
Chairman Tamaez?
I'm for it.
Board Member Hilliard?
4.
Board Member Smith?
For,
And Board Member Amuni?
4.
Okay, we're passed. Technically, you got a 10-day wait. I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right. You might want to talk to Ms. Laney at the end of this. All right, next up, we have a second issue on the agenda, which is PZ 2021-229, 7185 Tram Road, special exception to reduce off-street parking. Similar to those that we've heard before for the same type of business. What is our staff report on this?
PZ 2021-229 is a request for a special exception to reduce the off-street parking requirements for the property located at 7185 Tram Road. The special exception, section 28.02.005C, allows a waiver to the off-street parking when the board finds the requirement is unnecessary for the proposed use of the building for which the request applies. The A&E plan coordinator states that the store averages around 50 to 20 transactions per hour. He assured that the requested 35 parking spaces would accommodate the customer flow rate during the regular business hours and peak Christmas season. By strict compliance with the City of Beaumont zoning regulations, the Dollar General would require 53 parking spaces based on the size of the building. However, the store requests permission to reduce that amount to a total of 35 spaces. This is the tract that they bought. It's about a 150-acre lot size. This is going to be their layout here. So parking on the sides, parking up here. And then this is the picture. So on this side is By the Wood Road, and then this is Tram Road right here, and it's right across the street from the snow cone stand. But it's a vacant lot.
Commentary from the folks surrounding?
Zero in favor, 0 in opposition.
Okay. Anything else?
And we do have the applicant here.
Right. Any other questions for the witness?
No.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. If you'd step up, are you Mr. Forelli?
No, I'm not. I'm one of his co-workers.
Okay.
I live in Lake Charles, he's in Alabama.
Okay. Well, here's, you've not appeared before us before.
No, sir, I have.
Okay, so here's the deal. You bear the burden of proof, so you need to tell us something. You need to give us a summary of what the situation is.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But we've heard this several times. If you could condense it down about your studies and your turnover rates and all of that, we'd appreciate it. But go ahead and make your record, and tell us whatever else you want to tell us.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not trying to limit you.
No,
I'm
no,
just telling
that's
you. I'm
plenty
just
fine.
telling you that you don't have to educate us. We've
You've
heard
been
it.
down this road. Well, my name is John White. I'm with Capital Growth, the developers. What we see most often is, like she said before, the transactions are very minimal. I've never seen more than 9, 10 cars at any given time at a Dollar General. The transactions, obviously, they're about 285 a day, and you got about 2,000 transactions a week. We, in our thinking, if we're able to reduce this parking, we would have more room for retention, stormwater retention, and more room for landscaping to beautify this area.
Right. Okay. And your typical transaction lasts how long? Your typical customers in there, how long, if you remember
Typical
that?
transaction, probably, I go through a lot of these all the time, probably typical transaction would take about 5, 10 minutes, unless they're doing major shopping, which
Right.
may last 30 minutes, but generally 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
And a lot of times you get a lot of foot traffic, people walking to the Dollar General to shop.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions of the witness? Anything else you want to tell us about the situation?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the room that wants to speak up, talk about this, or say anything? Mr. Faust? I saw your name on the survey, on the property description. Not that I was noticing too much or reading too detailed, but go ahead.
My name's Richard Faust with Faust Engineering and Surveying. Address is 5550 East Tex Freeway, Sweet Oak, in the beautiful city of Beaumont, Texas. And as you said, we did the original survey on the property, also represented the property owner and getting it rezoned. And it just so happened that we are here at the same time. This isn't planned. Okay? But I do want to make one comment. When we were doing the rezoning and looking at putting an RV park in there, DD6 in the city had some pretty stringent requirements for detention because this area has some flooding issues. So I think as far as the adjacent owners and stuff, it would probably be in interest of the city to have more detention and fewer parking spaces. So I'm just going to throw this in as a,
I understand, and that's a good argument for having fewer parking spaces. And, you know, beyond, I gotta tell you, all we can do is say yes or no. You get them or you don't, or you can do fewer or you don't. But I would strongly urge that you look strong, that the owners recognize that flooding potential and the water holding that happens in the properties around there, and that they seriously look at drainage, water detention, and that they're careful if there are surrounding properties that they follow a drainage plan that's consistent with what the city generally wants, which is from back to front and not dumping on other people's property, because otherwise you'll hear about it later. And that's just, again, just a comment. It's not something we can make a decision on.
certainly.
Okay.
Maybe have ditches, they don't even have pipes.
No. Hey, they do. Yep. And the people out there, you know, they've been hit and they've been scrambled and they've had to come back in and beg us for leniency on how high they build their properties and stuff like that. They're real sensitive to stuff like this.
Yes, sir.
So, so you guys might want to take a look at that and talk to your neighbors. Okay, very good. Any other questions of witness?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak for, against, or otherwise make a comment? Hearing none. We have any commentary up here? Comments? You ready to make a motion? What you up to?
Ready?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
quite frankly, it's not like I ever see a Dollar General jam. No, we don't. You know,
Yeah.
people come and go, it's pretty quick, so.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve BZ 2021-229.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I got a second.
All right. Can we have a roll call vote, please, ma'am?
Chairman Tamaez,
I'm for it.
Board Member Board Member Hilliard,
4,
Board Member Smith,
For,
and Board Member Amuni.
4.
All right. That clears the current agenda. There's a question as to whether or not we have any other business we need to handle. And hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, which I'll make myself. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are done. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so
All right, y'all have a good day.
have a good, thanks,
You're doing you're hosting the advanced PI?
Yes, I'm, yes, I'm co-chair.
Are you gonna be the human in Houston?
Yes, I will be in Houston. Frank did the one in San Antonio, and I'm doing the one in Houston.
All right, I'll be on Houston.
Oh, you'll be there?
Yeah, I'm gonna show up in person and everything.
There you go. I will be there all 3 days.
All 3 days?
All 3 days.
I'll try to be there all 3 days.
Thank you.
So I can take my credit. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, you ready to sign these? So here's both of these were approved on a vote of 4-0.
Thank y'all.
As requested. This one too, approved on a vote of 4-0.
Hey, you remember the 3890 Holland case that we had? Were you there for that one?
I probably was, but I don't remember it by address. Which, didn't we sign 2 of those? Okay. So tell me what that one was.
It was
That was the one that was the cockeyed house that had the
Yes.
Saurian strand board on
Yes.
the outside? Yeah, whatever happened to that?